Hello friends, welcome back to another Magic Monday. Today we're looking at Marvin's Toy Box with Marvin, Murderous Mimic. That's a lot of alliteration. So Marvin is a 2 mana cost legendary toy who has all activated abilities of creatures you control that don't have the name Marvin, Murderous Mimic. He's a 2/2. Average mana cost is very high at 4.7. 36 creatures, 50 artifacts, 40 lands, including 3 caves and an Urza's. How special and fancy. Basically, what we got here is an Eldrazi deck. But I didn't want to use an Eldrazi commander because that's boring. So instead we use Marvin. So we have cards like It That Heralds the End, which makes our Eldrazi cost slightly less and gives colorless creatures we control a little bit of a boost. We have cards like Steel Overseer to give our artifact creatures a little bit of a boost, and also in this case it actually adds to Marvin, so we can do this twice. We got a bookcase because, I don't know, why not? We got a Soulless Jailer to prevent battlefield graveyard interactions. We got this Automaton who gets bigger when we cast artifacts. We got a Compass to get some lands. We got a Chronicler to draw some cards. We have an Ashnod's Altar to add some mana. Chief of the Foundry makes stuff bigger. Cloud Key makes things cheaper. Crystalline Giant is just a fun card with cool art. Foundry Inspector, cutting down that cost. We also have that owl guy right here. Gyra's Familiar also cuts down the cost. Other things that we have that cut down the cost include the Incubator right here. We choose Eldrazi to reduce the cost by 2. We have a Semblance Anvil, and if you put an artifact creature in here, then all artifacts and all creatures cost 2 less. So that's fun. You have a couple of mana rocks like File. Glaring Fleshraker is an amazing card because whenever you cast a colorless spell, you create a 0/1 Eldrazi spawn creature token. With Sacrifice this creature, add colorless. Whenever another colorless creature you control enters, this guy deals 1 damage to each opponent. This is an insane uncommon in a deck like this. It is really crazy. Junk Diver, we can basically get this guy and sack it in case we lose something that we want in the graveyard. We can go grab it. The Liberator's here. The Palladium Mirror is here, which that activated ability will also copy over to Marvin. Realm Breaker to get some more lands. That's really all it is. Shambling Suit will be a big, basically just a deterrent for our opponents. The Sparkhaver Masticore is really nice against Planeswalker decks, but otherwise, he's just decent, you know. More about having a target for Semblance Anvil and being a conditional plan in case of a Planeswalker deck. Strixhaven to add some colorless. Urza's Construction Drone will get us some Urza lands. Urza's Incubator, like I said, you choose Eldrazi. We got Cosmos Elixir, which I love the 3D-ness of it. It's very cool. The One Ring is here. This Amalgam is here to be a deterrent. Golden Guardian will let us make more golems if we so choose. Helm of the Host to make copies of things. And what would we possibly make copies of? Well, as I said, it's an Eldrazi deck. So let's scroll down a bit and skip some of this just general chaff here, like this Forsaken Monument. Karn Legacy Reforged? Puh, nothing. What we really want to make copies of are cards like the Breaker of Creation, which has Annihilator 2. Or Kozilek, the Broken Reality, who won't trigger his ability with Helm of the Host, but he's still a 9/9 that gives other colorless creatures +3 to. This other Kozilek will just be a 12/12 menace, you know, every turn. That's no big deal. This Ulamog? Yeah. What about this Ulamog? Uh-huh. What about Emrakul? Yeah, he's here too. So, I didn't put in the other Emrakul. I kind of debated on the other one. But this one I like better. So this is the one I put in. Metalwork Colossus is here just to be a big thing that we can get out relatively inexpensively because of this spell costs X less to cast. Portal to Phyrexia is here. We got a Meteor Golem. That's a fun thing to put Helm of the Host on. We put in a Chroma's Memorial just because it's a great card and I like it. Immortal Sun is up here, Worm Coil Engine, all sorts of stuff. But mostly it's an idea that Marvin has a toy box. Marvin, the Murderous Mimic, has a toy box. And in his toy box, he has toys like Emrakul and Ulamog and Kozilek. And then we have all these different colored lands, or different name lands, I should say, that all make one colorless mana. We have 13 wastes, and all this other stuff is just random stuff that just makes a colorless mana. Sometimes they have things that are fun, like this one, to sacrifice it, return target artifact card from your graveyard to your hand, but most of them are kind of useless, like, well, actually that one's decent. This one we could venture into the dungeon, whatever. This one just lets us scry when it comes into the battlefield. So most of them are stuff like this, but ultimately, we do have the Mightstone in here too, wherever that just went. Mightstone's right here. We put in Chamil because it's cool to get free stuff. Unwinding Clock, so we could untap all artifacts we control during each other player's untap step. But that's the deck, guys. It's really Marvin just playing with Toy Box. He's pulling out some toys. Some of them are little toys, like the Lodestone Golem. Some of them are big toys, like Ulamog the Defiler. Friends, if you enjoyed this episode, you know what to do. Click like, consider subscribing to the channel. As always, be kind to yourselves, be kind to each other. Let's get to some games. We'll see you in the next episode.